Hello there, everyone. Welcome to Solutions, Not Just Problems. We are your hosts, Vanessa K. and Be Real. Be Real, what's going on in your life today?
Hey, a lot happening. Just working on, trying to tune everything up as far as SNJP. We got some stuff that's happening this month that we're going to talk about probably a little bit more in detail next week. But we got some stuff that's going to be coming out for all the folks that are listening. Some specials, books, and a lot of great information. Um, uh, Stuff that's going to be going on the blog, LinkedIn, Instagram, a lot of content coming out. So stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff happening, and we're going to give you our handles and everything at the end of today's podcast. But what's happening with you? What's going on?
Oh, the real estate market.
Oh,
Oh, we're in a corrective market now. So things are
booming,
changing.
huh?
Things are changing. I will tell you the prices of homes are going down.
Okay,
So
is that a good thing? Is
it's a good thing for a seller. It's a lot of we haven't been in this type of market since 2006.
Oh
So
wow,
think of it in terms of it's new to a lot of people, right? Even agents, real estate advisors. If you're not if you're younger than 20 years, this is a new market, a new way of doing things. So we're all under the learning and trying to flex and move with this change and educate our buyers and sellers and what it means to them, and how it affects them.
okay. Let me ask you real quick. Give our listeners some little insight as to, just quickly
Hmm.
what they could expect if they're either a seller or a buyer. I hate to put you on the spot, but that might be something that people, might be looking at since we're doing the investments and,
Hmm.
how to manage money and so forth. So just kind of give us some quick insight as to what we got to look forward to.
If you look at the trend, our trends in the real estate market, how it trends going back in history, right?
Mhm.
And when I say we look similar to what we did in 2006, it is a corrective market. And one thing to know about corrective markets is they don't go away quickly, right? This is going to be a 10-year process. And the
Okay.
reason why we know this because we are collecting the data and we're going all the way back 100 years, right? And we're seeing this trend. And so it does give us some insight on how to deal with it, right?
Mhm.
We know that it's going to go down for 4 to 5 years before it goes up. So from a seller's perspective, it's a great time to buy. It's a great time to sell your home, right? You're going to sell it at the optimal price if you sell right now. Timing is
Mm,
everything because
mm.
the list price is going down. The problem is some of our sellers are taking a loss right now, right? But the hit isn't, we're trying to get them to think of it as one, transaction, not just selling this house and I'm taking a loss on the sale of this house. But remember, the house you're buying, they're also taking a loss, and the loss is, it kind of outweighs, right? When you start doing the math and you look at the two transactions as one, you're actually gaining on your return on investment because you're actually moving now before the corrective market. You're building equity. So when we get right back to where we were 10 years from now, you were already kind of 10 years ahead of everybody. You're
Mm.
building your equity. And then as the prices go up, the market equity is going into your house. So it is a good time if you think about it as in the eyes of return on investment and not just cost. The cost for me to, I'm taking a loss for selling this house, but look at
Mhm.
your whole transaction together.
Okay, and one last thing. How can I, if I need more information, how can I get information pertaining to this new market restructure or what was the name you called it again?
Corrective market.
Corrective. Okay, how can I get more information on that? Do you have a blog or something that people can follow or some content, a place where I can get the content if needed?
Not at this point. I mean, you can call your local real estate agent, right? I'm
Okay,
I'm getting my stuff together now. I mean, this is literally we're just identifying this, right,
okay,
within the
got you,
past couple of
got you.
weeks. So, yes, I will have blogs. You can obviously call me. You can call your local real estate agent if you're not, close to my area, or North Carolina Real Estate Commission. There should be write-ups and articles there on that. So,
Okay, all right, cool. I just want to make one quick plug here, and that
mhm.
is Mount Pleasant High School is in the semis today. We're
Oh,
playing.
they made it,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, we're in the semis today. We pulled out a squeaker.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we're 5-7. I'm sorry, 5-2 in the last 7 games, and one of the games we lost by overtime. The first 6 games we were 2-4, so we were able to come back, get over 500, and I think we got a pretty decent chance to get to the championship tomorrow. But we'll see what happens.
Good deal. What
Well,
what
Mom,
difference a year makes, right?
yeah.
Good deal. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. We ain't finished the job yet, though. We got one more game to go. Hopefully, we can get it done today and be in the chip tomorrow. So
Okay, well, we're expecting an update next week.
we'll get it. We'll get the update next week.
You don't have any clips of the game, any pictures, anybody taking pictures?
You know what? Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because they can go on to kilties-nation.com, okay, and go on to the website that I built for Mount Pleasant and get the information about scheduling, uh, profiles on certain players, clips of the summer league. So all of that information will be on there if you go to kilties-nation.com.
How do you spell Kilties?
KILTIES
Okay,
dash NATION.com. Kilties dash nation.com.
good deal.
Okay.
All right. All right, so let's bring it on back to our financial literacy series, right? We're continuing with that. If you've missed the previous episodes, we've been speaking on credit, taxes, and investing. Last week, we explored investing in savings. This week, we'll journey into investing on a budget. But before we dive into this show, we're going to take a quick break, so stick with us. Dreaming of a new beginning? Finding the perfect place or getting your home sold at the right price can feel overwhelming. Call Vanessa Kay, your local real estate expert. Understanding that buying or selling a home is a big decision, she'll guide you through every step, from finding the home suited for you or advising on how to price your home to negotiating the best deal. And it all starts with a free consultation. Why not schedule yours today? Welcome back, everyone. So be real. When we talk about savings and investing, it can kind of sound almost the same. What's the difference between savings and investing? There's a slight difference. Tell our audience what that difference is. They serve two different purposes.
Yes. Savings is really about having access to your money. It's what they call liquidity. So you can basically go into a bank or financial institution and have access to it without usually getting any type of penalty. So if you had a savings account at a bank or credit union, that would be considered a savings type vehicle. Investing, which we all know is long term, is more about growing your money. You know, and that's something where you don't necessarily have liquidity. So you don't necessarily have access to the money without normally facing some type of penalty, okay, or even a tax that's associated with it. So those are the two biggest differences right there.
And for those who've missed it last week, we kind of went in and broke out those the differences, those different types of vehicles, right?
Yes.
401ks, IRAs, those are all long-term vehicles, whereas savings accounts, short-term bonds, those are more of the will fall under the savings vehicles,
Yeah.
right?
And what I want to add to that, Vanessa, is that if you were to try to take that money out, if you're not over 59 and a half, and let's say 60 years old, um, then you'll be assessed a penalty of 10%. Okay. If you're trying to take money out of an IRA, 401k, or 403b. So please keep that in mind. You have to be at least 59 and a half years old to take that or withdraw that money without penalty. Okay. And make sure if you were to do that, that you understand the tax consequences, might want to speak to your accountant or speak to whoever your HR person is. They should be pretty versed in that. Okay. Or speak
Absolutely.
to the representative at the bank. Okay. If you're dealing like with an IRA with a banking institution.
Saving and investing are always optimal when started early in life, right? But Some of us started a little later, right? But it's never too late to start to begin saving or investing. Biting from last week's episode, the later in life you start saving and investing, well, just make sure your contribution should be more aggressive, right? You want to contribute a bigger contribution, but your investing vehicles should, or savings vehicles, are a little bit more conservative and vice versa. The younger you are, you can contribute a little less, but your vehicle should be a little bit more aggressive to grow your money.
Hmm, absolutely. And I would add that you want to make sure that you have a certain percentage or a certain amount, specific amount that could normally be deducted from your paycheck. And I know we're going to get into that a little bit more moving forward, but I just wanted to add that little piece right there. Because a lot of times, we look at it like, oh, I got to go to the bank, I got to switch this money over. No, you can have that money automatically deducted and automatically deposited into like a traditional savings account, just like you're having it deposited into your checking account. And I don't know what bank you're dealing with, but a lot of this stuff can be done on mobile too. So you
Mm-hmm.
easily take something from, let's say you didn't want to do that, a specific amount, you weren't committed to it, and you said, maybe once a month I'll see what I have at the end of the month. Okay. Let's say that's your strategy. You can easily go on to the app that you have and transfer money from savings into credit. And also, if you have a credit card with that company as well, let's say like a Wells Fargo or a major bank, you're also able to pay, right from the app as well. Along with being able to use Zelle, where you can actually, send money to individuals without having any type of fee involved. Okay, so that's another thing that you have on the app that you could use to more or less transfer money from account to account.
Technology is really making it easier and convenient for us to, manipulate and move our money and our funds around.
Absolutely.
So a lot of us deal with debt, right? We want to invest, but we have debt. And how do we prioritize that? How do we balance that? Because I know in my mind I have to invest, right? I should be saving, but I have all of this debt on me, hypothetically speaking, right? How do I balance that?
Well, we spoke about this in previous uh, episodes, okay, focusing mainly on credit, but we didn't really talk about putting together a strategy as to how you can get out of debt, okay? If you're trying to do it on your own, obviously what you want to do is you want to figure out which one you're paying the most interest to, okay? And it's not necessarily the interest rate, because if you have a high interest rate but a low balance, okay, your interest payment may not be as high. But if you have a low interest rate but a high balance, you may be paying more in interest in terms of dollar amount. Okay, so in one case you might be paying $30 a month, in the other in interest. The other case you might be paying $100 a month in interest. My thing is to try to focus on the one that's going to get you out of debt quicker. Okay. And there are some calculators out there that will help you to, okay, let's say you had four different types of revolving credit cards. You had a Macy's, two MasterCards, American Express, and a Visa. Okay. There are online options that you have where you can actually plug it in, figure out how much you need to allocate in addition to that minimum payment, because that's the key to getting out of debt too, is actually paying more than just the minimum payment, even if it's an extra $20, $30. And what you want to take care of is at least whatever that interest amount is, okay, in terms of dollar amount each and every month. So like I said, if you had $40 on a credit card, I'm sorry, $40 in interest payment each month that was due, and let's say the minimum payment was $100, you want to add the 40 plus 100, $140 a month. Okay, so that's how you're able to eliminate interest. The last thing I would do, or actually the first thing I would do, is to speak to a credit counselor. Okay, and they'll help you to put together a strategy similar to what we're talking about, but they'll also take into consideration your budget and have some suggestions as to how you can manage your money a little bit better as well.
And it's good to know when you're trying to pay off debt and invest, you want to prioritize your debt first.
Absolutely.
Right. Now you can do both together, but you want to prioritize the debt first, pay the high interest debt off, first and eliminate that debt. But you can also consider making smaller investment payments, right? And savings for long term because you're putting your priority on the debt first. But you can contribute to your investment at the same time. You just have, like you said, you got to figure all of that out.
Yes.
But I'd always put the debt over the
Yeah,
investment.
absolutely. The main focus, if in that case, let's say money was tight, you
Hmm.
don't necessarily have a lot of money to put into investments and so forth. The focus is on trying to get out of debt first within a 3 to 5 year period.
Right.
Okay. And also, while you're trying to get out of debt, you got to stop spending. Okay. And you've got to get to the point where you're making some hard choices. That means some of the things that we're doing, we'll talk about that in a minute, but some of the things that we do on a regular basis with that disposable income, we may have to put, you know, pump the brakes on that. Let's put it that way
Hmm.
you know. But yeah, the focus, like Vanessa said, is always to get out of debt first before you start thinking about investments. And I would say debt reduction even before savings. Okay.
Mm.
And I'm not talking about emergency savings where maybe you're putting aside, I'm sorry, that 5 to 10% automatically just in case an emergency would have come up, because we definitely need that. But I'm talking about any additional money that you may have to be able to save. Focus on the debt first because it can take you sometimes 25, 30 years to get out of debt if you're just paying the minimum payment, even if you
Right.
stop using the credit altogether. Okay. And a lot of us don't really understand how interest works, but a lot of us are paying, sometimes in excess of 20% in interest, you know. So that is something that is really difficult for you to get out of debt. And there's some other strategies that you can use to reduce that debt simply by transferring that credit card over to a no interest credit card. Okay,
Hmm.
which is another option. So if you had a $10,000 balance, and let's say you got an offer from another credit card where you have, let's say, 12 to 18 months with no interest, that would be a good time to actually go ahead and transfer that debt and aggressively stop paying it off because now you're not having to pay any interest for that 12 to 18-month period.
And there's a general rule to savings that will build on that, right? How much income should I be aiming to save every month? And this is what they call it, the 50/30/20 rule,
Hmm.
where you allocate your income 50% towards your needs. That's your rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, insurances, and the minimum debt payments, right? 30% towards your wants. That's dining out, entertainment, hobbies, vacation, and 20% towards savings. Sometimes we might have to reduce that 30% once and put
Hmm.
it on the debt, right? Put it on extra debt. Sometimes our savings, we put some of our extra savings on that debt, put extra payments on the debt. So there's different ways to work in your debt.
And let me just say one thing about that. Obviously, these are ideal numbers when we're talking about that 50, 30, 20.
Hmm.
And in some cases, they might be saying, oh, I can't allocate, 20%. I can only do 10, 15. Anything is better than nothing. Okay.
Exactly.
And for those of you that have two incomes coming in, okay, you definitely have an advantage. If you're let's say a single mom or a single dad or, just a single individual and you're having to take care of all your bills, obviously, the burden's a little bit higher, especially with rent being so high and, food costs and gasoline and everything being so expensive. We get that. But at the same time, if you have an additional paycheck coming on, additional income coming in, these strategies become a lot easier for you to do. And keep in mind the name of this is called pretty much, doing this on a budget.
Mm,
So we want to make sure that we keep in mind that these folks, most of them are on a budget. I mean that's just the way it is in this country. Most people are struggling from paycheck to paycheck, and that's why we're doing this podcast or this particular series to begin with is to address people who are having a hard time struggling at this time.
absolutely. We're going to continue with some ways to cut your expenses, but we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
At BSM, we transform ideas into results. With high performance websites, strategic digital marketing, and intelligent business solutions, we help brands stand out and scale with confidence. Ready to elevate your brand? Let's make it happen. Visit brandstrategymarketing.com today.
Welcome back, everyone. So be real. What are some realistic ways to cut everyday expenses to increase our savings?
Oh man, we got so many different things that we could cut out. First of all, if you're a person who smokes, you know,
Them vices, right? Alcohol,
yeah,
lottery tickets.
smoking, drinking, partying. Well, we're a little little older now, so I'm not doing the partying like I used to. But I used to have to fit that into the budget. I think eating out is a real big one for a lot of people, you know.
Let me tell you this, right?
Yeah.
When COVID hit and we switched from, office, working in the office to working at home,
Hmm.
I did the calculation. It cost me $600 a month to go to work.
Hmm.
By the time you deduct the gas,
Hmm.
at that time I was smoking cigarettes, right?
Hmm.
Lunch, breakfast every day.
Hmm.
I was spending well over $100 a week.
Hmm.
And yeah, that came out to like $600 a month just to go to work.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I had a client a ways back, and I think might have mentioned it in a previous podcast where I sat down a husband and wife. And this is when I used to be a counselor back in early 2000s, and I had a husband and wife that when we sat down and took a look at their finances, it was cheaper for her to actually quit her job and stay at home than
Hmm.
it was for them to pay for daycare and do what you're talking about right now, which was eating out, gasoline, and all the expenses associated with it. We looked at the budget. We're like, if you just stay home and maybe, work part-time, you guys would be in much better shape.
Yep.
So, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Another hidden expense is subscriptions.
Oh, good.
So I
Man.
had I had the subscription to the cable company, right?
Mhm.
And it's going up, the bill's going up. I'm spending $200 for internet and cable, and I canceled the cable TV portion of it. That was the big portion of it. I canceled the TV and went into the little side subscriptions, Netflix for $15 a month or whatever, because even that, those hidden costs and those subscriptions can get you.
They add up.
Uh-huh. And I'm sure running a business,
Oh, yeah.
I have to clean house every
Yeah.
year. Like, what am I using that for? Why did I even order that?
Let me tell you something. I counted up my subscriptions last year, and I think I had 13.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Five of them were personal, eight of them were business related. And not everyone was every month. Some of them were yearly, like a LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
the web design service I have, the hosting package. Those things were kind of like on a yearly basis. But when you take a look and you break that down on a monthly basis, you might be spending $150, $200 a month,
Yeah.
maybe $300 a month. I think I
Yeah.
was about 300 a month in subscriptions, car wash, two gyms, um, like you said, Netflix, Apple TV, Hulu. I had at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Just Amazon.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah,
know,
they get you.
yeah. I mean, it's just so many. And what's the name of that app? I wish you would have wrote it down. I don't have it written in my notes. What's the name of that app where you can check to see what subscriptions you have? Do you know what that is?
Oh, I don't know the name of that app. I didn't even know they had an app. They got an app for that too.
Yeah, yeah. There's an app out there, and do your research, folks. And maybe we'll put it in the notes. We'll
Yeah.
put this out next week. But yeah, there's an app where you can check to see subscriptions that you may have. Because I had stuff like um, storage for my Apple. I'd get this $9.99 a month, and I'm like, what the heck is this?
Mm-hmm.
And I got one for Google. Oh, those are two more I forgot all about. Apple and Google. And it's like these little 4.95, 9.95. I got one for
Right. It keeps
99.
hitting your card and it's
Yeah,
like, what the heck?
and I got one for 99 cents.
99 cents. That's a
But
space. That's the space.
Apple needs my 99 cents. You just gave Trump 600 billion or whatever it is, and you need my little 99 cents, really?
Yes, that's for
Oh,
that
goodness.
space. Yep. That 99. Well, at least they're not sending it out through the mail with a stamp.
Really? Yeah, so check that. Do a an AI or a Google search.
Yeah, we'll put that in the description box
Yeah,
for all of our
yeah,
viewers.
yeah. Okay, cool.
Can I start investing with less than $100? And if
Ooh.
so, how? The digital platforms, you can go on these applications. It's almost like, and it's just, it's that's what it's saying. It's like there's no human interaction. You can actually do it yourself, all your learning, everything.
Mhm.
Schwab is one of them.
Mhm.
Fidelity is another one. Sophie Invest is one. Betterment is another one where you can go on and start investing for less than $100, and it walks you. They're intuitive sites that walk you right through
Mm.
managing and maintaining your investments.
See,
Another one is fractional shares. So
Okay.
and that's simply instead of buying a whole share of a piece of stock, you buy a portion of it. So you can break that down by cost. There's also micro investment apps. Micro investments are small amounts of money that are invested, often through easy to use apps or platforms, allowing people to start investing with just a few dollars and even cents. So they're out there. And these micro investment apps, one is called Acorn, Stash, and Robinhood are the three that I pulled up.
I want to go back to what we talked about. I think it was it last week or the week before we were talking about investing in your 401k and 403b.
Mm-hmm.
Because before I do any outside investing, because keep in mind, if your employer is matching that fund, I would suggest, okay, and I'm not an investment broker, I would suggest you focus on that first. So if you had an extra $100, let's say to invest, and you're not putting any money into your 401k or 403b, okay, that's where I would put the money. Okay.
Absolutely.
Or I did the outside investing. Now, if you're fully funded or you're putting in the maximum amount or a good amount, and it's being matched and you've got an extra $100, by all means, utilize these options here.
Or you're
Okay.
self-employed. Some of them don't have, some of
There you
us
go.
are self-employed. We don't have the employer,
There you go.
benefit. All right. Well, we're going to take another short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for staying tuned in with us. So be real. Is it better to invest and save a small amount consistently or wait until I have this big boatload of money and then do it all at once?
Okay, let's be honest. The big boatload of money is probably not going to come anytime soon. So we're all waiting for the big boatload. If you
Right.
get in the habit of investing, saving, as much as you possibly can. Okay, I don't care if it's or as little as you possibly can. I don't care if it's $10 a month. Okay, and let me tell you too, Vanessa, there's some investors out there, on YouTube. If you guys do your research, that will teach you how you can invest. If you only got 50, $100 a month, some strategies that you can use to invest with little to no money. Okay.
Hmm.
And the thing about investing, just like savings and debt reduction, is getting into the habit of doing it on a consistent basis. And then as your money grows, then you can increase the amount that you're allocating towards trying to get out of debt, trying to invest, and trying to save for like an emergency fund.
That consistency makes a big difference because like we touched on a real small level last week with the Christmas club fund, right? Taking
Mhm.
that little bit and how that over that 1 year, everybody's having a good Christmas. That little bit of money builds over time. It's because it's that consistency that you're
Okay.
constantly feeding that account.
Okay. And let's take that for example. Let's say you've got $20 a week that
Mm-hmm.
you're able to put into the savings account. Let's say you get paid weekly or
Yep.
an investment account or whatever the case might be. But let's use the Christmas fund. $20 a week by the end of the year, that's
1,040.
1,040.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that you'll have in the account come Christmas time. You have $1,000 to spend on the GI Joe with the Kung Fu grip. You
Right.
know, they still got that?
I don't
Huh?
know. I'm so far removed.
I haven't had a Christmas present in 30 years. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, that's all I ever wanted was the GI Joe with the Kung Fu grip, and I wanted the thing that shot that you could use it with the little rubber thing at the end of it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Almost killed some. I almost got killed with that. My brother almost killed me. But,
Remember the ones
had a
that used to
star over my
box?
eye with that, huh?
The ones that used to box? Remember the
Oh, the
two?
Rock'em Sock'em
Yeah,
Robot?
yeah,
Nah, nah, nah. All
yeah,
right, all right, all right. Listen, I was
yeah.
a pro. I should have made a living out of that. You know how they
Exactly.
how you got the gamers now? You know what I mean? Between that and the electric football, remember the little football that used to be in there? And things would vibrate and cause,
Yep. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I
I
mean?
remember that now. Yep, yep. Oh my
Those,
goodness.
listen,
We are truly telling our age.
people have no idea how life used to be, and how we got enjoyment out of the simplest things. That's funny though.
Oh yeah.
Rock'em
So
Sock'em
especially
Robot.
I'm digressing, but remember when our parents told us to go outside? We didn't have all of this stuff, right? We had
No,
rocks.
no.
We had to find a rope somewhere. Like we didn't have bikes and toys and gaming systems and all
Hey,
of that. We were creative with our own minds. We made up our own games. You know, the rock using to write on the ground, make the hopscotch on the cement.
Let me ask you this, because I know you had it. The Easy Bake Oven.
Oh, yeah.
Did
I
you
even
eat
bought that for my
it?
daughter, right? I'm
Did,
like, we're gonna bake something today.
did you eat the food?
Yeah. Not too good, not too
Oh
good.
my
But,
goodness.
you know, the
Oh
easy
my
bake up.
goodness.
Oh, and the Baby Alive dolls that used to, feed them and make a big mess because
I
it all
could
had to come out.
did not like Baby Alive. Baby Alive, but I don't know, Baby Alive or the Chia Pet. We are truly dating ourselves. Those are like,
We used to give them away as gifts. Like that was
oh
something.
goodness.
I got you a chia pack for a gift.
Can you imagine that? If somebody got you a Chia Pet, trust me, they wasn't really feeling you like that, folks.
Exactly, exactly. Some platforms for beginners, like Be Real just said, Fidelity, Schwab, Robinhood, Acorn. Those are all platforms that are user friendly and informative.
I think they're pretty easy to sign up,
Absolutely.
to get started. And I'm sure you're gonna have to probably add some banking information, probably a social security number, name, email address. Probably take about 5 or 10 minutes to get it started.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely.
and there's a whole lot of information out there on YouTube uh, that I'm sure you guys will do your homework and check and see exactly step by step how you go about setting up an account. But yeah, these are definitely opportunities that you have to be able to invest, without having to pay, these huge brokerage fees because the fees here are pretty minimal.
Oh, yeah. Everyone hang tight for today's word of advice. We're stepping away before we wrap up, but we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Before we go, we want tips when investing. Here's some tips for you when investing. Number one, we always tell you this: educate yourself. Use free resources. Podcast, YouTube is great for educating. Um, there's some podcasts out there, Graham Stephen, The Plain Bagel, or apps like Investopedia or Morningstar. The more you learn, the better decision making you can, the better decisions you can take.
And let me just
Start. Mm-hmm.
and I just want to say that this information is going to be included. I'm going to put this in all these little references here to all these little companies and stuff. So you don't necessarily have to write it down. I'm going to just go ahead and put that in the notes for the next episode. So you'll have that information there. Okay. As to some of the resources that you can tap into when it comes to investing, when it comes to savings and some of the stuff that we talked about. Okay.
Absolutely.
And one last thing I want to say before we go, because I know you're ready to wrap it up. Um, Today we had some fun. We're kind of poking at some stuff going back and being kind of nostalgic and talking about things from my childhood and so forth. And we're trying to keep it light. Sometimes these subjects can be a little bit boring,
Boring.
even though it's stuff that we need,
Right.
obviously if we're talking about taxes and investing and all that type of stuff, some people may view that as being boring, but what we try to do is we try to make it as lively as possible, as entertaining as possible, and also get to the point where you get valuable information, and the show is only going to get better each time. I think we've gotten a little bit better. We've added a little bit more to it, and we hope that you stick with us and get to the point where you share this information with your friends. Because I'm seeing a lot of people will go on, they'll check it out. The views have gone up, subscribers have gone up a little bit, but we'd really like for you to subscribe, share this information because we're trying to do things to change our community. Okay. We got enough nonsense out here on the web. We see it all the time. We get 10,000 views for all this nonsense. And I'm not going to go through it on the web, but something like this, you might get, 100, 125 views. And it's like, nah, this is the type of content that we need to have out there. This is
Absolutely.
the type of information that people need to really make sure that you share it. So if you see some value in it and you think that it can help someone else out, please go ahead and share that information. Appreciate it.
And we're not stuffy. Like you just see how B just cut in on my tips. I still got two more tips, B.
Hey, you know what? I'm an official cutter inner. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, the last two tips now is when investing, start small and be consistent. Even 10 to 50 bucks a month can grow over time, right? Thanks to that compound interest. And use automated vehicles. Use technology. Like direct deposit, where it's continually coming out. You're being consistent. Last tip, diversify your investments. Don't put all your money into one stock or sector. Even with a small budget, you can spread risk with ETFs or mutual funds. Next week, we're going to dive into diversification a little bit deeper. But this wraps up today's show. So we want to thank everyone for watching and tuning in. Be sure to join us next week as we continue this series on investing your money. We will discuss diversification and real estate investing. So be sure to tune in. This is Vanessa K and Be Real signing off. And remember, keep growing, stay motivated, and thank you for tuning in with us.
Peace.
Peace.